things of that nature, so.
So, thank you. So did that amount that we used to budget in the TID plan for admin, did it go down since
Yes,
you're saying, and by how much, do you know?
I would have to consult the village budget from 20,
I just want to make sure
17.
that we're not
Yeah.
spending more just because we didn't.
no, it's all
gone down.
formula driven and, you know, I mean, I can look up the 2017 numbers, and obviously in the 2018 budget that the board approves for actual TIDs, you know, that comparison will also be there when that time comes.
It is a placeholder, and you're spending it down by formula, right? So-
Within the TIDs, the idea was to come up with a reasonable placeholder so that we're not doing all these dynamic projections, but also to give the joint committee a sense of scope of those commitments.
Sure.
So the comparisons, and I'm happy, I don't have the budget with me, but I'd be happy
We
to
just never
show.
transferred out before, so this is just a little different. I
Yeah.
understand as you go.
It is different.
As you close out your expenditure period, I understand your admin goes down. We've just never taken money and transferred it out, so we actually have a budget for admin. So that's just different for me. I just wanted to make sure what we transferred out plus what we,
Well, again, it's not TIF admin, it's CDA program admin.
but it, I
The
understand.
two used to be the same, but now they're split.
But it's in the same district, I mean, it's in the same amount, basically.
Yes, they serve the same general
These were the
purposes.
same tasks that we had in the TID before we transferred them out.
Along those lines, just like looking at, I think it's the same question, and it might be just I don't understand how to look at this.
Right.
But like a TID 3, for example, which is the Milwaukee River properties. You know, we have $10,000 for, you know, developer recruitment, business recruitment, retention, which doesn't seem, it seems like in that TID, you wouldn't have those ongoing activities because it's sort of a self-contained type project. So maybe I'm wrong, I might be wrong on that. Is it, so, I mean, I guess what I'm wondering is, you know, why we would allocate $10,000 budget towards that? Or if that's
Within TID 3,
TID 3, yeah.
and what, I'm sorry, could you just refresh my memory what page you're on now?
I'm on A8.
You want to spend those unless you needed to. I mean, it's a placeholder. I was looking at last year's projection.
I guess that's my question, is you would not spend those unless you needed to, so it's there, serve as a, to make sure that we have those funds, that they're available, and it's not just like an administrative,
Right.
we're
No.
gonna spread things out, you know?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's my question.
Right, because I'm looking at the transfer chart we approved. These costs weren't in the transfer out column. That was the facade, developer
They
recruitment.
were
Right,
they were
yeah.
in the 308,500,
Which is not, yeah.
Yeah.
which was part of the transfer out.
And
This is
we
what
did,
I thought
we had
had
this
this
exact
was
same.
because village staff and benefits aren't
Right.
there. Yeah, I'm not sure how you get to 308,500 from here, but I recalled that too from this chart on last year's report, and I think that's what Trustee Rozak is getting to, is are we double counting expenses because they were included in the 308,000, but we're also budgeting them here, so I'm confused about that also. Are we counting the same expense in two places?
I don't believe so. Again, the expenses were transferred out were from the TID 1 boundaries. The placeholders that staff is recommending be used for future modeling include some supplemental activities within the TID 3. There are still potentially other opportunities, but also to be transparent about that, the board has to authorize expenditures within the TID 3 district. That's not a CDA function. The CDA would recommend to engage in those activities, and then the board would either concur or not concur. But again, for modeling, that's what we feel is, again, throughout all those activities, it's a fairly reasonable placeholder.
Okay.
So we transferred 220,000 out, 20,000 a year for 11 years, which was 10,000 for assessment and planning, 2,000 for developer recruitment, and 8,000 for business recruitment and retention. Then we transferred 88,500, which was $17,700 for 5 years, which I believe was made up of a portion of the village staff
Yes.
time associated with monitoring the TID.
Not monitoring the TID, but fulfilling the CDA-funded activities.
Oh, yes, sorry, going out, yes, sorry.
If you'd like me to go to my office and grab a budget, I can tell you what's in there for 2017, and if it's,
Just that transfer memo would be very helpful. I asked, remember when I asked for details to bring that out and look at the transfer? This is why, I wanted details of what, so Mark did provide that to me. And those
sorry,
details
it is.
detailed out all the admin costs. And I just, so I'm
Trust
just,
me,
Yeah.
So I appreciate the effort to avoid duplicating and to manage the costs of the administration of the programs and TID. What I'm wondering is this, if this is a basic kind of accounting question, how can we resolve it to, move on with the discussion?
just for references,
Answer the question.
there's 30,000 in TID 1 for 2016 that was budgeted for these things. So 10 and another 17,000, I think that collectively that's still a decrease. I don't know if that answers your
So
question.
30,000 was budgeted in 2017 budget,
16.
16, and now we're at 50,000.
No, that's just TID
Just
1.
TID.
Okay, so what was 3?
And now we're proposing a scenario that looks at 10 plus another 7,700.
so 30 to 17 cents.
Yes.
That would be my analogy, yes.
So just TID 1 is 10 plus the 17,700. How did I get the numbers wrong?
It's 10 plus 7,700 in the CDA. If you're trying to look
Transfer.
overlay kind of perspective,
So this
and it was 30,000 the previous year, 2016.
But the important
But the-
thing is it's a placeholder, and basically these all have to be approved expenses that are tied.
Well, I can tell you that the 10,000 is going to be pretty tight.
Okay.
I've kind of
This
run
is
the
a
numbers.
seasoned experience on it.
Did that 30,000, I'm sorry, did that include developer recruitment, or was that strictly 30,000 for
No,
admin?
it did not include
Just
development.
staff time.
Okay.
There's just looking at our budget from last year, a transfer document. Developer recruitment section.
I don't believe we need to authorize, once this is adopted, we don't need to authorize admin expenditures, just so we're clear, unless someone tells me differently. The board doesn't authorize admin expenditures for staff. Do we?
In the accounts receivable.
Well, we're approving this Friday.
You approved today, it's not like capital improvement where to spend it, you need to come to the board.
Well, but in finance,
I mean, it's part of the 20, it'll be part of the 2018 budget proposals. And if the board wants
it's an
to
allocation.
tackle that issue at that point, that's there's,
So you're allocating a portion of the expenses out to the TIDs as part of the budget process? Is that how that works? And I'm not.
I'm just wondering what we're approving for financing here. What's the dollar amount? approved?
you're approving the conceptual framework that $10,000 of residual administrative costs in TID 1 is within the ballpark of the board's expectations.
It's reasonable.
It's a reasonable modeling tool, and it's a reasonable expectation.
Let's go on.
And the details will be hammered out, and I would sincerely believe that they'll be within $1,000 of that. Again, this is more of a framework issue, that's, again, if the will of the board was to commit more resources to some of that, this would be the time to say, if the will of the board is to say, well, we don't think that you should spend any time fulfilling the statutory requirements of TID compliance, well, you can make that motion as well.
But just to be clear, so what would, the 10,000 coming directly from TID 1 is strictly for accounting, auditing, done
Correct.
through your office, whereas the 38,500 that was in the transfer for village staff and benefits is when you go to a CDA meeting or Erica does a report for the CDA. It's
No, not so much reports, but administering the programs. I mean, the CDA still enjoys a level of staff support.
Facade program review.
Up to 7,700 a year, I think we adopted
Right.
in our
Yes.
CDA budget, so it's not that 38,000, it's capped. Village reimbursement 7,700 or something like that.
Well, but then there's other things that you provide through the bid, there's other things that you can authorize independent of any action you've actually taken at this point. You know, again, it's a budget, it's a forward-looking framework to just give conceptual ideas of the level of activity that might be expected.
When you set forth goals, you have to have staff time. You said these are very ambitious goals. They require staff time and cost to execute. I mean, statutory requirements we have to meet. We get requests for documents, we have lawyers' fees we have to pay. I mean, the 10,000 in lawyer fees were requests for documents
Well,
would be substantial.
Not to be argumentative, but those are not TID expenditures, the village board will keep those expenditures.
Which one?
This is strictly staff.
Is there an ending request or recommendation here, or is that going to come later when we, later?
If I understand it correctly, and I thought,
No, I'm asking with your discussion.
is that what you're asking?
Yeah, are you going to propose a different amount?
I might have, I was just trying to understand it, because if it was duplicative and it was additive, then I would propose something different. I'm happy
To make a recommendation or to decide, or to need more time?
if
I'm
I
sorry,
ask-
Mr. President and Mr. Chair. I mean,
If I ask another
having
question, then I need more
trouble
time. At this moment, I was okay. That's why I'm asking questions. Is that-
So I think we answered the question of that it is not additive, that these are different buckets,
Different.
paying for different things.
And the only reason I had a concern is our original budget for TID for admin was 500,000, something small, 500, and we spent $1 million over that on just admin. So I'm being a little careful as we move forward that we are not paying attention to that line.
You're trying from the audited report on TID 1. Yeah.
Okay. The
813.
last item is the impact on village debt levels. This was added, I think at the board's request, just to add some additional context. Again, where we are with the various TIDs. So we presented the information that shows the financial health of the kids and their ability to close on time. I would say that's the previous pages in the report. This is, again, additional information to provide context to the board of the debt levels of the village and the impact of the TID component on it. So, Mark, I don't know if you want to walk through any elements of 13, 14, and 15. We had quite a bit of discussion of these at the CEA meeting. I think we incorporated one of the changes that were requested. This is all, basically based on the long-range village's financial plan, so that's what's incorporated into these numbers. So Mark, I don't know if you have any other inputs for the village board.
Again, it's based off of the most recently approved long-range plan approved by the village board. Forecast out the takeaway for the purpose of this report is to show the scheduled debt payments of the village, but more specifically to show the TID components of that and how those somewhat recent historical cluster of major projects has created a significant amount of general obligation debt, but there is, this is non-recurring. These are done deals, so that those levels drop off in the green. Obviously, the point of discussion we had is really once you get out past about 2027 for the village projects, and potentially the utility projects, you know, the board may engage in additional initiatives not contemplated in the long-range plan as of last year. And as those projects may be contemplated and integrated into the plan, these numbers will change when we look further out. But for the TID portion of this, I think it's, again, these are legally obligated debt payments. They're scheduled. This is how the numbers go. We did have a couple of provisional items in the long-range plan in 2016. I do not plan to perpetuate that in the upcoming 2017